So you can listen to this practice wherever you find yourself today. You can be sitting down or laying down or even stretching and doing things if that's what you got to do. And just hopefully wherever you're at when you listen, this will still be helpful to you in some way, shape, or form. So if you would like to listen in a still position, just allow yourself to take all the time that you need to arrive there. And let yourself fidget, adjust, stretch, or move in whatever ways your body wants to move. Not worrying at all about what the movements look like, but coming fully into that sense of feeling. And simply following those yummy sensations that you might feel when you do some neck rolls or shoulder rolls, cat-cow motions with the spine, side body bends, just trusting your instincts of movement. Maybe a nice big morning stretch, even getting that space between your hip bones and the bottom of your rib cage. Getting that space really long. So you just give your organs a lot of space to breathe. And there's no rush whatsoever. You can keep moving throughout this practice anytime you feel the need to. But at any point, if you haven't already and would like to, you can make your way to a still position. Just feeling that your spine is nice and straight in whatever position you've chosen. And if you're in a space where you feel safe and would like to, you can allow the eyes to gently close at any time if they aren't already. As you now mark your arrival into your practice today and into your body today with a full, intentional cleansing breath. As you call in fresh, new air into the body and almost watch yourself as you fill up with air to every corner and edge of you, getting as big as you possibly can get. As you hold that for a moment, to experience that sense of fullness in the body. And as you need to, slowly letting it all go. Exhaling bit by bit. As you gently pull the navel toward the spine at the bottom of the exhale to really push that last bit of stagnant air out of you. As you again pause for a moment here, to now experience this sense of emptiness in the body. Allowing your next breath to come to you as it's needed. And you can continue to breathe just like this for as many rounds as feels good and helpful to you. Not worrying about the actual length of your inhales, exhales, and pauses on either side, but just letting each of these 4 parts of your breath be exaggerated, whatever that means for you right now. Just consciously and intentionally slowing down the process of the breath, the process of your body breathing. Remembering how our breath is our key to the subconscious and to the nervous system, since our breath is that one bodily function that can be either voluntary or automatic. And so we voluntarily guide our breath to slow down, and therefore we communicate to our nervous system, to our bodies, that now is a time to slow down. And then at any point, if you haven't already, you may release any and all guidance over your breath altogether as you step into the role of the observer or the witness. As you now simply witness the fact that your body is breathing, rather than having any direct control over the rhythm or depth of the breath, but simply watching your body as it breathes you. Just like your body breathes when you're in a deep state of sleep, just like waves as they roll up along the shoreline. Simply watching as each one comes and goes. Observing the force of nature that you are, the same way you would observe any other force of nature. Not trying to change anything about what you are witnessing, but simply witnessing. Maybe even taking on a more curious perspective. And if you notice that any judgments or expectations are popping up, you can allow those to be there for a moment, and allowing each judgment and each expectation that pops into the mind to be a cue in itself for you to instead become curious and become curious about how you already are doing. Not trying to feel anything specific or not feel anything specific, but becoming curious about how you already are feeling, which may be really painful. It might be really heavy. The way you feel right now might not be what you consider good. And this practice is not about feeling good all of the time. It's not about ignoring all of our pain and sorrows and the heaviness of life and pushing love and light on top of everything. But this practice is about showing up for yourself exactly as you already are, which will constantly be changing, since that is the only thing we can count on in this life, is that everything changes, especially how we feel. And so again, just making note of what your starting point is today, or your ending point if it's the end of the day for you. Just making note of where you're at for yourself. And sometimes it can be, or it can feel nearly impossible to even know what we're feeling. Maybe we feel rather numb. And now you can just let some of your awareness come to your face. Because oftentimes, even when we feel numb or like we're not feeling anything, maybe, our face can show us what we are feeling on a deeper level at times, or our body language. And so now, using this time to bring your attention to the physical. And even with your eyes closed, see your body in the space that you are in. Feel the shape of your body and how much space you take up. Release yourself fully into the surface that is supporting you. As you allow yourself to be big and heavy and held. Trusting that when you fully let go in your body, you won't be crushed, you won't float away, but with the magic of the earth and gravity, you will be held exactly where you need to be. And so even if it's just for a split second, let yourself be held. That same feeling that you get maybe when you exhale into a loved one or an animal, maybe just anyone that you love dearly. And that moment in the hug where you exhale and let yourself be loved. You let yourself be held and supported. And just awakening that same sense with your own body. And the hugging sensation of gravity all around you. The hugging sensation of your skin to your muscles and bones and organs. As you just remind yourself of how much love you truly do possess, just right within your own body. How much love has existed for centuries, for generations, for your existence to exist, for you to be here. And all of us will have phases where we forget our innate power, where we feel weak and heavy and uninspired, unmotivated, and where we feel like we're in darkness. And if that's how you are feeling right now, or if that's how you've felt in the past, or when you feel that way in the future, just know that it is not a reflection on your character, on who you are, or anything bad that you've done. It just means that you are human, and you are a part of life. And absolutely everything in life moves through cycles and phases. And we are not meant to escape the cycles or the phases. We are not meant to be full all of the time. We are simply meant to ride the waves of change that present themselves to us with as much grace and ease and patience with ourselves as we can at the time. with the information that we have and in the state of mind that we're in. And so just be so kind and so patient with yourself through this journey of life that will be full of ups and downs. And allow yourself to cry, to scream into a pillow, to punch a pillow, to release any emotions that need to be released in whatever way they need to be released. Maybe allow yourself to laugh or cry until you're laughing. Just catching those waves of emotions when they come up. Because we are not in control of our emotions. And I imagine it like when a wave of emotion is coming up and we don't allow it to release and we push it back down, which sometimes we will have to do in certain settings. It's not appropriate to just let yourself emotionally release wherever you are. But when you're in a safe place, and if you feel those heavier or sadder or more dreadful, honestly, emotions coming up, if you can allow them to come out in tears and screaming and yelling in whatever way they need to come out, you will feel lighter. You won't drown in the tears. You won't be crushed. You will have allowed them to arise and release. Versus when we shove them back down, they only remain within us and get deeper embedded within us and control our actions more insidiously, since they're not in our awareness. And so when you do have a safe space and maybe a loved one or an animal around you, allowing yourself to let go of those emotions through whatever way they need to be released. And lighten your load just a little bit more. As you now just let a little bit of your awareness come to rest on your face and notice any expression that's resting on the face. Any emotions that could be communicated by this resting expression, maybe in response to what you're feeling or the words that you're hearing. And then from that point of awareness, you can instead choose to allow all of these tiny muscles in your face that have created every expression you've ever made to just ungrip from the bones and release back into the support of your skin. As you remember that you can trust your own anatomy. And you do not need to hold yourself in any particular way right now. But you are allowed to be exactly as you already are. And we are allowed to accept ourselves fully for who we are right now in this moment, while at the same time have aspirations to grow in different directions. You do not need to hate or disown who you currently are in order to be someone different. but you can acknowledge all aspects of who you are and make any adjustments that you choose over time with patience and love for yourself and your journey. The same way you would respond to your best friend's journey of growth or anyone who you love dearly. With patience and loving kindness, unconditional love. And so you can continue to feel all that you are feeling. Continue to soften your body into whatever it is you're feeling and releasing whatever needs to be released as you listen to the following words that are written by Octavia Rahim. And just allow anything that feels like it resonates with you to soak in a little deeper and not worrying about the rest. Rising isn't possible without rest. Physical rest, emotional rest, mental rest, social rest, collective rest, individual rest, spiritual rest, laying something to rest. There is something you are clinging on to. It once served a noble purpose. It helped you survive. And now it's in the way. It won't let you meet your higher destiny and rise. You are finally ready to acknowledge, honor, and release. What is it? And she quotes Jennifer Sterling, quote, "You have to learn to feel so that you can heal." And then again, Octavia writes, "Pattern breaking and cycle disruption demands that you do something different. You can't continue your regularly scheduled program and transform at the same time. No one can do your inner work for you, and you also don't have to do it alone. I know firsthand how much courage it takes to reach out and receive support in order to disrupt repeating and negative cycles. You are brave. Do it anyway, and do it sooner than your mind or mental loop will tell you to. If you don't do anything differently, nothing changes. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. So what negative repeating pattern or relationship is it time to put to rest? And what cycle is yours to break in your family and in this lifetime? What needs to die in order for you to be reborn, awakened to, and heed your highest calling? Rest with one of these inquiries this week. Answer in compassion, truth, and with invincible courage. Then rise. And this is again by Octavia Rahim. You do not have to face it all at once. Your heart is a portal, a doorway into the truth hidden underneath every feeling and emotion. Perhaps today you sit outside the door and lean your back against it. And then the next day you crack open the door, and so on. You do not have to fling it open, Do not bolt it closed. Do not lock yourself out of your own heart. And then the following poem is written by Donna Ashworth, entitled Unstoppable. Unstoppable, they called her, but I saw her stop. I saw her stop many, many times. Sometimes I thought she had stopped for good, but no, she always found a way to resurrect, to rise again. Not the same, never the same. Each time a little more determined, a little less vulnerable. Unstoppable, they said, but I think it was in the stopping that she found her power. And then I think I will read this little bit about eclipses, since that's pretty timely. This is from an Instagram page, which I will write in the chat at the end of the session. So you can just continue to listen and feel and soften. Eclipses are vantage points that magically weave the past, present, and future together in one breath. Imagine that you set out to hike up a mountain, but you want to see the world from every side of it. So you set out to walk around and upward at the same time, like a spiral. If you take your time, let's say the entirety of your life, you will come to the same side of the mountain multiple times. We encounter the same core themes time and time again, but from a different vantage point each time. We are not the same versions of us meeting those familiar core themes. And perhaps we might not realize this if we didn't have the constant variable of the core theme itself to witness how we've changed. A different vantage point, not just because we're slightly closer to the top of the mountain, but because we've allowed our journey and the mountain itself to work on us. We have a new perspective from the inside out. And this is what eclipses can help us do. An eclipse is a moment of karmic tuning that occurs not by completely altering the storyline, but by deepening our awareness of what the storyline means for us. An eclipse feels like returning to an old relationship, your childhood home, a mixtape from high school, and realizing how both some things never change and that everything has changed. Eclipses are those songs that start and end with the same verse. We hear the same words at the end, but we feel differently toward them. We have let the song work on us. Eclipses can be moments where you invite your spirit soul to witness your material body. The two were with you the whole way, but it feels like a sacred meeting. How did the mountain work on you this time around? And the last thing I'm going to read, I wasn't sure if I was going to read this. This is a poem I wrote a few years ago that is kind of the reason I call these sessions Feeling and Healing. It's short. I've been healing and feeling shattered and scattered, piecing the pieces to keep me from reeling. Day by day is all I can say, play and pray to keep darkness at bay. And I rewrote this one to being. I've been healing and feeling, fearful and hopeful, doing my best to remain soulful. Day by day is all I can say. Play and pray to keep darkness at bay. You can just take the next few moments to just let every single word you've heard today and every single feeling that you've felt today to settle. As if each feeling and word was a little speck of glitter in a snow globe. And your body is that snow globe. And now is the time where we set you down, let the glitter settle, let the air clear. As you trust that anything at all that you heard today that really struck a chord with you, resonated with you, rang true in some way. Just trust that sometimes comes when we hear on the outside what a part of ourselves already knows to be true on the inside. And so you can allow these truths to be enhanced within you so that you feel a little bit more confidence and trust with yourself and your own intuition. Trusting your own instincts. Trusting that you already know all it is that you need to know and all it is that you need to do, if that is anything at all in this moment. Because many times doing nothing or doing little is what we need to do. A lot of times we are simply meant to wait. Life is a lot of waiting. And so you are allowed to mix in all of your joys and passions into the process, into your life. And you are allowed to spend more time doing things that you enjoy, that fascinate you, that spark your sense of passion. Trusting those feelings, trusting that that is where you are meant to be. You are meant to be where you feel inspired, passionate, joyful, creative. And just as much time as life allows, even if that is 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes doing something you love a day is better than 0. Just be so kind and patient with yourself once again along this journey. And so, if it feels like something you would like to do today, you can let your hands find each other in a prayer position toward heart center. As you feel this contact of your palms and fingers to one another as you remind yourself of this steady background beat to your entire life, your own heartbeat, this steady rhythm, a constant reminder that you are alive and that life is being fed into you, and that you are loved deeply and dearly. And the fact of your existence is the proof that you are loved. So you can call in one final deep and full breath into the body as you let yourself fill up the most you have today to every corner and edge of you. And as you exhale, letting go of anything at all you're ready to let go of as you allow the head to gently bow. You just take this moment to bow to the source of energy that allows all of our hearts to beat, whatever you believe that to be. Bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally, bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. And may this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights. And may you bring the same love and understanding to everything you do and to everyone that you see. Thank you.